FOURce! It's FOURce, YouTube toy collector team vlogging to save the day. FOURce! Nostalgic vintage toy heroes. FOURce!
FOURce is the codename of 4 daring, middle-aged, highly obsessed toy bloggers. Its purpose? To bring toy reviews and nostalgia to YouTube, a video sharing website that allows users to view, share and comment. Hi, I'm Rudy Zissou, and this is the £5 eBay challenge, round 2. So we are back with the £5 eBay challenge, and the same rules apply. Can only cost £5, it has to be vintage, and it can't be a toy line that you already have. And in the similar vein to Junkheap Dave, I also set myself an extra little parameter. His was to try and get something mint on seal card. I decided as an extra little challenge that I would try and find something that I had very little experience of and not much knowledge. And what I chose, I'd only seen maybe 4 or 5 episodes of the cartoon in the early 90s. And I stumbled across FOURce from the Pirates of Darkwater. So as I said, I'd only really seen maybe 4 or 5 episodes when I got back home from school. But it had a big enough effect that I wanted to pick up a Pirates of Darkwater action figure for the challenge. And he literally did cost £5. Straight up, there it was, buy it now, £5, and then I got totally stitched for postage because it came by Hermes. You know, the seller could have literally just put it through Royal Mail, been a little bit cheaper, but I guess if you're a business person, you want to make the most amount possible. But as I said, £5 straight up with accessories, a bow and arrow, and a quiver, and a sword. And as I said, I have limited knowledge on Pirates of Darkwater. To be honest, I didn't even know there was action figures. And it's probably because I'd say 91 was when it came out. 13, 14 years old, I'm not playing with toys anymore. If anything, I'm deep in the zone of role-playing and Warhammer. And just toys weren't on the agenda, you know. I think maybe when I was 12, that possibly might have been the last time I had toys given to me or wanted toys. But I was still a huge lover of cartoons. And as you all know, I still am. And it did have an awesome, profound effect on me that I still remembered it to the day. And the 4 episodes that I did see, they were like super cool. I wish I'd seen more, and I've just never had the chance to go back and watch the Pirates of Darkwater. And it's one of the toy lines and cartoons that it was really like limited. It only had 13 episodes in the first series, and then I think it might only be like 7 or 8, so there's only like 20 odd episodes of the storyline. And the premise is they're looking for these 8 treasures on this other planet that's very much like 16th century pirates, space pirates. And there's the omnipresent being that possesses the water, so it becomes the dark water. And there's goodies and baddies, and FOURce is a goodie. And what I love about 90s cartoons is they're different from the 80s cartoons. They are so much tonally darker. You know, you have the lightness of Mask, and I guess Turtles is pretty light by the end. The first 5 episodes of Turtles is pretty dark, and Mask is quite light-hearted. He-Man is definitely light-hearted. And then you come into the 90s and cartoons just take on a much darker overtone with, you know, the types of characters and storylines. And FOURce is a great representation of the type of 90s cartoon. Yeah, he's a goodie, but he's not exactly a good guy. You know, he was originally a pirate, and he's akin to the kind of the Han Solo type character, rogue, a lovable rogue. So, you know, he's got his, you know, his piracy background, but then he's more of, you know, he turns more of a good guy and gets, you know, much more dependent on Ren, who is kind of like the Luke Skywalker of the show. And as I said, he's a great representation. But enough about the cartoon. What you want to see is the figure, and it is a pretty cool figure. And again, to compare action figures to the 80s, they are slightly different. In some ways, they have like less articulation. There's only, you know, 3 points of articulation: the head swivel, and the, you know, the arms and the legs. There doesn't seem to be waist swivels on 90s figures, but some of the detailing is incredible in terms of the molding. He's known for having a large scar across his face, and it's molded into the actual face sculpt, and that is a pretty stellar moustache for an action figure. Again, we all know my love of action figures with moustaches. But what is really cool, I found, with these action figures, because it's my first experience of a Pirates of the Dark Water action figure, the pose is super cool. I've never seen a arm done in, you know, that kind of, that pose. It's a really interesting way to have an arm pose. In some ways it does limit it, because you can only have holding one accessory, and I've chosen the bow. And I don't remember the bow being in the episodes I saw, but it's, in terms of a weapon, it's incredibly cool with the dragon motif, the double handle, and, you know, the arrows, which look more like missiles or rockets. And that's a super cool weapon. Well, they're space pirates, aren't they? They're not going to fire like normal arrows, obviously. And I said, yeah, the quiver just attaches just like a bandolier, very much akin to the kind of the Turtles, Casey Jones, in a similar sort of affair. And it's super vibrant. The yellow really is really bright. When I was looking at the photos, it looked quite a dull action figure, but it actually really pops on the camera. And as I said, he comes with a sword, which fits in just like that. And if it is a criticism, it's the other arm is just, the way that it's posed is very linear, it's very straight. You know, it's alright if you want to have your whole display just doing exactly the same poses for every figure you have. If that's your thing, it's perfect. But for me, I like a bit of dynamicism. But I mustn't forget that it's a 1990s figure, so maybe the articulation isn't going to be that cool. But for me, the bow is much more interesting a weapon to have in his hand. Yeah, very pale grey skin, which is pretty screen accurate. And then I guess what you could do if you wanted to carry weapons, I know Transformers collectors out there love to have weapon storage in alt mode. So yeah, I'm super stoked to get such an incredible action figure for £5. And You know me, I always talk about I just want to have one representation of cartoons or toy lines that I know and love, and this is it. This is the one that totally captivated me. Oz. The bad guys in the cartoon were always looking for a shortcut, a quick way to riches and power. You may know some people like that, always looking for that quick way to get ahead of everybody else. Well, it doesn't work that way. The people who succeed are the ones who work for what they want. So don't be fooled by those who say they have a sure thing. There's always a catch to it. Don't sell yourself short. The right way is the best way. So now you know. And knowing is half the battle.